18 years for number 18. And finally, it's happened. Virat Kohli is an IPL champion. Royal Challengers Bangalore, RCB, are IPL champions. The wait is over. The heartbreaks, the memes, the Isala Cup Namde chants that echoed through seasons of hope. It all led to this moment. MG Road in Bangalore is probably a sea of red and gold tonight. Fireworks, flags, and fans who've waited nearly 2 decades to say, we did it. A fairy tale ending to a truly unforgettable IPL season. Two of the best teams all year, RCB and Punjab Kings, locked in a final that delivered grit, drama, and a battle worthy of champions. And in the end, the man who gave everything for that badge, who carried the weight of expectations season after season, heartbreak after heartbreak, finally gets his moment in the sun. Virat Kohli, champion, icon, legend.
Unreal introduction. I think you hit it right on the head there. Congratulations to all of Bangalore and congratulations to all of Virat Kohli fans. First time in 18 years, and what a final. And, it was one of those finals where, surprisingly, both teams had never won. So we were all expecting a new winner. And I guess this time around, it was RCB after, again, a long 18 years. Virat Kohli has finally conquered white ball cricket. Finally got that ever eluding T20 IPL trophy. What a final, and what a knock from him as well. I know we'll get a little bit more on the game details, but being the highest run scorer for RCB is sort of poetic in a sense, and very Kohli-esque way. Not too fast, very much typical of his slow and timely pace when it comes to T20 cricket, but that's what it was required to get over the line. And again, congratulations to our Bangalore and all Virat Kohli fans everywhere.
Yes, what a final. It was definitely a fairy tale ending for RCB, for Virat Kohli. Like, you can't even write a script for these things. And it was just magical to see even the finishing moments at the end when it got very close. It still went down to the last over. And when you knew mathematically that Punjab couldn't do it, you just saw Kohli, the camera panned straight to Kohli, and just you could see his eyes just ball up, and you could feel what he was feeling because of all the heartbreaks they had to deal with,
All the memes,
all the talk about the RCB is never going to win a championship. They can never put teams together properly. They're always having two or three superstars, but then nobody else. And there was even calls for Kohli, and he talked about it in an interview he did that's on YouTube. I forget the host, her name, but she's the host on some of the IPL games as well. And he said how there was a time where he thought like there was considerations of switching franchises, right? But he stayed loyal, and now he's reaping the fruits of that loyalty.
yeah, no, exactly that. And had always seen the comparison between sort of MS Dhoni's Chennai team, Rohit Sharma's Mumbai team, and Virat Kohli's Bangalore team, and it was always that distinction of, oh, these are IPL winners, whereas Kohli on one hand did not win the IPL. Glad that conversation is over, because if there was one person and one team who deserved the grueling 18 years, the close encounters, the comparisons, it's definitely RCB. And again, what a game and what a tournament as well. I know if we recall some of our conversations before the tournament started or even halfway through the tournament, there there could be an argument that we did not rate RCB as high as obviously as winners. We talked about their bowling, we talked about their lack of depth, but RCB somehow found a way. And hey, it was 18 years of IPL. Number 18 got the first IPL trophy.
Yeah. We definitely did not call it. I think both of us had a feeling that Punjab was going to make it all the way, and we came pretty
Yep.
close. I still stuck to my guns with Punjab. I remember you messaging me before the game, who do I got? And I kept saying,
Yeah.
I still got Punjab. and I was riding with them till the end, but it just wasn't meant to be. It was destiny for Kohli and RCB, and who would have thought with that bowling lineup at the start of the IPL? I remember when we did our preview, we were talking smack about that bowling attack because it felt like they didn't have a lot of impact bowlers in there. Turns out they had enough. Turns out they had Hazel God, as they call him, or Hazel Good, as they call him. And then Krunal Pandya. Who saw that coming? It's like he had something to prove because he clearly has been living in the shadow of his brother Hardik, who's been the more popular Pandya, the more talked about Pandya brother.
Yeah.
Krunal has always been in his shadow, and I believe Krunal is the older one. So, kudos to him for putting a performance of a lifetime. 4 overs, I think 17 runs, took a couple wickets, really changed the trajectory of the game. When it was at that time when RCB, or sorry, Punjab, were looking like they could take the game away, and he got the crucial wickets off. I believe it was Inglis and Prabh Simran Singh. Yeah, both the set batters that he was able to prize out. So, and then Suraj Sharma, who saw him being performing the way he did. Yeah, he had some bad games, but he had some great games too. And when it felt like they didn't have a spinner to rely on, he ended up being that spinner alongside Krunal. And then the other two, Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, everyone thought that he was on the other side of it, twilight of his career. He's got nothing in the tank, and he just kept coming game after game, hitting those lines, bowling his slower balls, hitting the Yorkers, and he managed to pull out a good performance as well. And then they got something out of their youngsters like Yash Dayal, who
Yeah.
I think played almost every game. And he was another player that was kind of like looked over because of his previous performances where he got hit for those 5 6s against Rinku Singh, right? And here he is now, IPL champion.
Yeah, yeah, no, could not agree more. If you look at the RCB bowling lineup on paper, they impress, but they don't impress too much, apart from a few names, and that's sort of what our take was in the beginning of the season. But when you have class players, like as you mentioned, Boovy, Hazelwood. These are players who have been there at the biggest stages and have performed. So it's sometimes difficult to really, really not rate them because they have that class and have that history behind them. So to your point, RCB bowling was incredible, and that really, with the sort of the flurry of wickets here and there, they're able to sort of bring it up, take it over the line. Let's start off by maybe looking at RCB's initial batting because they batted first. A score of 190, and I think as we mentioned earlier, Kohli with sort of a slowish 40 odd. Did you think one that was enough, and two, did you think if it wasn't enough, Kohli would have been ridiculed for such a slow strike rate?
It's always the case, right? If you lose, you're
Yeah.
ridiculed, but if you win, you're praised for the innings. And you read the pitch and you played
Yes.
according to
Yes.
the situation. But if you lose, it's like, oh, you should have tried to hit a couple more sixes. Like, what's going on? Are you playing a test match with a strike rate of 122? Like, what's going on, right? But honestly, it's coming the man, coming the hour, right? It's a
Yes.
big game. He just knows how to absorb pressure. He knows how to cut the tension. He knows how to play in high octane situations, and it showed again. He did that in the T20 final against South Africa,
Yes.
and he stood up here today. It wasn't a swashbuckling innings, but it was an innings that held the innings together, and everyone seemed to have chipped in for RCB. Kohli ended up being the highest scorer for RCB, and then the next best out there were a flurry of 20s, and they still ended up with 190, which a lot of people thought it was under par, including myself. I think I messaged you saying that under 200, Punjab has the advantage, and turns out it was enough because many people forget that when you are playing a high pressure game like a final, you automatically add 10 to 20 runs to any target just from
Scoreboard pressure.
pressure,
Scoreboard pressure.
scoreboard pressure. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So I felt like it was still a good score because Punjab did well with the ball. It's not like they let RCB get away. But RCB somehow just found a way to keep chipping at the bowlers, getting a boundary here, getting a six there, and they somehow managed to put up a target that was competitive.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, as we were texting as well, um, that sub 200 was definitely like, okay, ball is perhaps in Punjab's court. And I think it was. I think, starting off the Punjab innings with the way they were batting, the game, in my opinion, was Punjab's to lose, and it did seem like they lost it from their end. Um, I do want to say that at least initially, the opening partnership stood at least, I think, 5 6 innings. Sorry, 5 6 overs. So, they got through the power play and they were looking good. But then, as we mentioned, class bowling, consistent bowling, and you get those wickets, and one wicket brings 2 wickets. We can talk about Shreyas Iyer going out cheaply as well, but one wicket brings 2 wickets, and as we've seen in all of sort of the T20 format, things change very quickly, and things
Yeah.
change very quickly for Punjab in the second innings.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So when you look at the way Punjab started, they got off to a great start, like they have been all season long. They were 43 for one was when Arya got out,
Yes,
and there was still 1 over left in the power play. And even when Prabh Simran Singh got out, they were in the driver's seat. But definitely Shreyas Iyer's wicket was huge because we all know how well he did in the previous game against Mumbai, where he single-handedly won that game for Punjab, where it looked like Mumbai had enough against an attack with Bumrah, Bolt, and the like, right? And so you knew he was the prize wicket, and you could see the elation from RCB, especially Kohli, as usual, right? Super pumped up when he got out, and it was an absolute garbage ball. Like
I know.
he could have hit that anywhere that he wanted, and he ended up nicking it to Jitesh, and like that's the game. That's what you
That's
call
cricket.
destiny. That's cricket.
That's
Yeah, you
yeah.
can't you may get the worst ball ever that should go to any part of the ground ends up going to glove or to someone's hand. So that was a big loss for Punjab because I had a feeling that if Shreyas spent any sort of time on the crease, he would have made a dent into that target and made it easier for the lower order after.
Yeah, no, exactly that. But not all hope was lost when Shreyas got out, because a couple good batters were still remaining. Wadera obviously didn't play as best as he could have in comparison to even last game. But I would also mention this: Stoinis' first ball faced six. I'm like, oh, big boy is here. But
Big Poppy is here.
but the second ball, wider than usual, reaching out for it, and it goes to like fifth slip. I don't know who was there, but easy catch, and it was unfortunate, and I guess a little too much for even Sushant Singh at the end, because he made it close. I don't know, what were your thoughts on sort of the last 5 to 6 overs?
Yeah, I felt that RCB found a way to chip at the batters by getting wickets at timely intervals.
Yes,
It felt like like you said, Stoinis walks out, hits his first ball of six. Okay, is it his day, right?
it
And then next
literally
ball he
is.
gets out, it's like, what's going on? So you felt that as long as RCB were able to keep chipping away at the wickets, that eventually the Punjab would run out of steam, and that's kind of what happened. And Shashank tried his best. That last over, man, that first ball, hindsight 2020, but they lost by 6 runs. If he got that first ball, which was a rank full toss outside leg stump, he could have hit it anywhere that he wanted to.
Bread and
Just
butter.
Yeah, bread and butter. And in fact, he hit the same ball a couple balls later for 6 or 4, and he just couldn't get bat on it. And that was the game in the
I
end,
know.
looking back. You can always pinpoint at different balls, different overs situations, different wickets. Like he could have done something else, whatever. Like if you just pinpoint that one thing, it's like that one ball could have won them the game, but such is cricket, as we have said already on the pod.
No, no, exactly that. But I think, in full analysis, it was a final worthy of the IPL championship. It was two teams who have never won, both fighting. I would say not only from a skill perspective, but from an emotional perspective, little chip on their shoulders, both teams. And you saw them fighting, and you saw the emotions they left out on the pitch. But RCB, full on congratulations to them, and it was also very nice to see some legends of the game in the house. I know we were talking about this, ABD and Chris Gale, both
Universe
pull it
ball.
up. It was nice. What were your thoughts on seeing some old faces at the final today?
Yeah, I felt like there was a lot of buzz about this game because everyone had a feeling that something special was around the corner for RCB, and
Yeah,
it felt like fate, and it ended up being like that. And it was nice to see the support that the team got from former players like the legends of the game, ABD and the universe boss. So it was great to see them at the field, and there were some other people too. I believe it was a star-studded
yeah.
final.
Rishi
It,
Sunak.
yeah, it always is, right, when it comes to the IPL. So, yeah, it was good to see that, and it was nice to see that embraced by ABD and Virat Kohli at the end. You could see that that was their friendship talking in that moment,
Yeah,
because you could get the sense that they probably both supported each other during the last whatever number of years of the IPL, and they're supposedly good friends or very close, and the families as well. So it was nice to see that.
yeah. No, no, I completely agree. And obviously, I do want to have some parting words for Punjab Kings. I think their trust in Shirazire to captain them, Ricky Ponting as sort of the coach, and their key players, a lot of them being uncapped Indian players. I think they have a team for the future. I think for the next 3, 4 years, if you stick with the core, you stick with the leadership group, this can be a very, very impactful team and a very strong team in the IPL. So I hope they stick with their guns. And obviously, we know how the draft goes, and we know how that plays out. But I think with their uncapped Indian players core and their leadership, Punjab can be a very, very dangerous team in the IPL for the future seasons.
Yeah, let's hope that Punjab doesn't pull off a KKR.
Yes.
KKR, okay, this is not about them, but I don't know what they were thinking with their selections. They let go Shreyas Iyer, they let go of Phil Salt, and they let go Suyash Sharma. All three of them played in the finals, and there's probably a couple other players that I'm missing as well. But anyways, coming back to what you're saying about Punjab, I completely agree. I think they have a very strong nucleus. I think we've said this before. They did a great job in the auction. They got a great selection of foreign players where they had replacements when players were not available, players were injured, players are out of form. They had plenty to choose from. And Ponting did say at one point during the tournament that they felt like they had all bases covered. And I completely agree. They had all bases covered. You never felt that if one player was missing, that it was a big hole for them to fill. And they have players that they could continue to build off of, especially talking about that Indian core, because it's a young core. Robert Simran Singh has been someone that has been in the IPL now for many years, and I think he's finally established himself as a
Yes.
player. He's walking into any 11 in the IPL, right? So finally, and I think that's awesome to see. Priyansh Arya, first IPL, did great. I can see him continuing. And then Nehal Vadera too got let go by Mumbai, got picked up by Punjab, and he's performed really well. And then with the overseas stars, they could easily swap out with whoever's in form at the time.
Yep.
Josh Inglis looks like someone that I believe they should probably always play in every single
Yes.
game. I can't see him walking out of this team. He's arguably one of the best up and coming players right now in my opinion, especially in white ball. I know he's only played one or two test matches, but he's an amazing batter, and that's not even talking about his wicket keeping skills. So he could be classified as an all rounder, and I think he walks into that 11. Marcus Stoinis, he's a great team player. He's they say he's great to have in the team. He's great for the vibes and the motivation, but he also needs to perform. He did in the chances that he got. So
Yeah,
perhaps he maintains his spot. I could see that happening. Glenn Maxwell, does he come back? I don't know. He just called retirement on ODIs.
yeah,
We don't know how long he's going to go with T20Is or T20s in general. So yeah, question marks around the foreign players. But from an Indian contingent standpoint, I think they have a solid core to work.
yeah. No, no, exactly that. And they had a great season, and they deservedly so went into the final. Unfortunately, just couldn't get it across the line. But the future is very, very bright for Punjab. But today is the day for RCB and King Kohli checking mark the last unticked box of limited overs cricket. So it was great to see.
Yeah, yeah. This is what the third tournament within the last year that he's picked up. He's got the T20, he's got the
Yes.
Champions Trophy, and now he's got the IPL. So, it's been a amazing year. And would you be surprised to see if he signs off with this trophy in the IPL at least?
No, I think his love for RCB will stick for at least a couple more seasons. Does it does sort of make sense with like especially a lot of his retirement announcements, but come on, Dhoni lasted for Dhoni lasted what 44 years. I think Kohli could last a few more.
Oh yeah, I could see Kohli pulling off a Tom Brady and playing till 44, 45, just because of his fitness levels and the impact player. The impact
True,
player makes
true.
such a big difference. He could play like a Rohit Sharma, like how Mumbai plays Rohit Sharma, where he just
Yep.
bats and doesn't do anything else.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I could see him. I could see him continuing for sure. And he represents RCB, and I feel just like with Dhoni and Chennai, that's such a huge hole that I don't think can ever be filled. So I feel you just milk it when you can.
Exactly. And he'll leave based on his own intentions. No
For
one's
sure,
going to kick him out.
for
So,
sure, for sure, 100%. Awesome. Good place to wrap it up. That was a fantastic IPL. We'll definitely do another episode and unpack the entire IPL season in more detail. But for now, that was our recap of the final. A great day for RCB. RCB. RCB.
hey, B.
That stuff.